January 11th, Good Things Ahead, and I read, Love is not a hole you fall into. It's a choice you make, and it's not always an easy choice. Often, I just don't feel like loving my wife, especially when she disagrees with me, or when she fails to do things I've asked her to do, or when she's got stuff for me to do that I'm not motivated to do. I'd much rather have a wife who meets my exact desires at the exact right time. I want her to wear a beautiful dress and makeup when we're going to be around people I care about. I want the best possible recipes prepared like Martha Stewart when we entertain. And of course, I want her to be sultry and sexy at bedtime, especially when the mood is right. The problem is, all this is a fantasy. My fantasy. My wife can never meet all these expectations. Heck, I can't even verbalize some of them. My wife is an individual who has the right to be herself. I must choose to love her just as she is. If I consistently show her my love, there's a chance she'll want to do things that please me at times. But that has to be from God's grace, not from a trade. Face it, your wife is going to disappoint you. The question is, how will you respond? Will you let your disappointment breed anger, or will you choose to love her? Passionately, intentionally, regardless of how you feel. The fact is, you love your wife and you committed to her for life. Don't be distracted by how you feel. Choose to love her. Then do something that demonstrates your love. It will change your heart and hers too. Challenge. If you really believe that love is an act of the will, not just a fluffy feeling, then act. Despite our weaknesses, Exodus chapter 4 verse 10 reads, Please, Lord Adonai, I have never been eloquent, neither recently nor in the time past, nor since you have spoken to your servant, for I am slow of speech and slow of tongue. Surrendering our insecurities to Adonai is how we get out of our own way to walk in the way of the Lord. Do you remember Moses' response when God called him to speak on his behalf to the Pharaoh? There at the burning bush, Moses started listing his flaws, including his lack as a speaker. He was convinced he didn't possess what it took to do what God asked him to do. I've experienced this firsthand. When I was growing up, there was a time that I stuttered so badly that no one could understand me. I had a desire to speak, but lacked the necessary skills. Anthony has difficulty expressing himself orally, one teacher wrote. Not exactly someone you would expect God to call to preach the word to tens of thousands of people at a time. Yet, that's how God works. When we surrender to Him as Lord over our life and owner of our life, He takes the raw materials of our human existence and sprinkle His power on us, suffuse His grace over us, and infuse His Spirit into us. He makes it work despite how feeble our abilities may be. Moses recognized his insecurity, but he also recognized that God is in charge. He addresses God as Adonai, respectfully communicating his timidity. By doing so, Moses confessed that God runs this show. He may not see how this plan is possible, but he knows enough to trust Adonai. Never let your self-talk or what other people said about you limit what you do for God and His kingdom. When you submit to Adonai, give Him full control to direct you according to His will, He can use you in ways that will stupefy those naysayers. He did it for Abraham. He did it for Moses. He did it for me. He's done it for many, and Adonai can do it for you. And I pray, God, I can let go of the negative words from others and from my own mind because I have faith in your plans. I have faith that you will use my weakness for your glory. Amen.